What's up, guys? Mr. Fight Companion here. UFC Fight Night, Edwards versus Brady, just ended. I think 3 or 4 minutes ago, and I'm right at you guys with the full fight breakdown, punch by punch. Let's get into what happened. I'm gonna switch it up and go from the main event this time all the way down to the prelims. So we start out with Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. Just saw it a few minutes ago. I could not be happier with the results. It is just as I had been saying for months. Sean Brady is just way too well-rounded for Leon Edwards, and he's going to do to Leon what Bilal did to Leon. And Sean Brady did exactly that, but better. Sean Brady ended up doing what Bilal could not do, which is submit Leon Edwards in round 4. So kudos to Sean Brady for that. I've never really liked Leon. I'm glad that Leon is headed back down to the middle of the division. I don't really think Leon was ever like. I'm not gonna get too in on the Leon hate, but Leon did do great things. Knocking out Kamaru Usman was a great thing for him. It was a nightmare for me because I am a Kamaru Usman super fan. So I'm not, I'm not a Leon fan at all. I can't even say I really like him, but he did do an amazing thing by knocking out Kamaru Usman. But after that, basically he got dominated by Bilal Muhammad, and now he just went on to get dominated by Sean Brady after like going off the grid for a fuck ton of months. So I expect Leon to do the same shit after this fight. Leon's probably going to disappear for quite some time and try to get back into the swing of things, only this time further down in the division. So could not be happier with it. Sean Brady did amazing, mixed it up, outpunched Leon on the feet, out-grappled Leon on the ground, picking up Leon, tossing him down to the ground, putting Leon in various bad positions for Leon, and then finishing the fight in the 4th via guillotine. It was amazing. Kudos to Sean Brady for that absolutely beautiful performance, a performance that I saw coming ever since that fight was announced. The co-main event was Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. It was a good fight. I had Jan Blachowicz winning this fight. I had Mr. Polish Power connecting on something big and sleeping Carlos at some point in the fight, or just winning via decision. I did have Jan Blachowicz via decision. It was a close fight. Carlos Ulberg had really great moments and had a lot of, successful leg kicks. But Jan still made it a close fight despite him being old as fuck. So, I really wish we all could age like Jan Blachowicz and Yoel Romero, but we can't, or at least some of us can. I can't. I can, but yeah, despite all that, the Jan Blachowicz Carlos Ulberg fight was great. Ulberg, both fighters were stepping into the pocket, throwing like crazy, both determined to win. It could have went either way, in my opinion. A lot of people had it going in the favor of Jan, but it ended up being Ulberg, who was chosen to be the winner. And I don't disagree with it. Ulberg had a lot of great moments. And again, the leg kicks were there for Ulberg a lot of the time. And I did kind of see, by a small margin, I did kind of see Ulberg just about outpunch Jan Blachowicz. But it was close, But great for Ulberg. He moves up, in title contention at light heavyweight. I'd like to see him fight Yuri next. But we just got to see what happens. We all know that Alex Pereira is going to get the rematch against Magomed Ankalaev. So that leaves Yuri and Carlos just pretty much sitting on their fucking hands until a winner is declared in that rematch. So I think we might as well book Yuri Prohaska against Carlos Ulberg. But, let me know what you think. Next up, Gunnar Nelson against Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, after taking a humiliating loss to Reiner de Ritter, wanted to get his get back in this fight, and he ended up doing so. Gunnar Nelson had successful moments. He was able to get the takedown against Kevin Holland in every round, but after getting the takedown, Gunnar Nelson proceeded to do nothing with it. So, Kevin Holland was the aggressive one, even while on the ground in the bottom position. So it went to Kevin, and I don't disagree with that. I'm not a big fan of Kevin Holland. I don't know if I'll ever be, because he is way too fucking lazy and unambitious, but we'll see what happens with Kevin. We'll see what can happen in the future for Kevin Holland. I don't know what will. Next up, Women's fight, Molly McCann against Alexia Thainara. Alexia Thainara is growing on me. I am a fan. She has tons of energy. She's very entertaining. She came out dancing the whole way to the fucking cage. She is fun to watch. She is a firecracker. She is special. And she's got really, really great ground game, man. Really great grappling, really great jiu-jitsu. She knows how to slip into some really deadly submissions. Molly McCann was her opponent, and she did get submitted by Alexia. And then McCann proceeded to retire, noting that the UFC deserves more entertaining fighters and whatnot. But bottom line, Molly McCann is a great fighter. She's been in a lot of UFC fights, and we all got to respect her for that. She announced her retirement. That will be it for her in the octagon. Only wish her the best. She's got a restaurant or something in England, so only wish her the best. Great for Molly, great for Thainara. Thainara moves up in the rankings, and we might see her with the belt one day. Next up, moving on down the card from the main to the prelims, we have Jordan Vucinic against Chris Duncan. Both fighters are really great grapplers. I expected this one to go into Duncan's favor, and it did. Chris Duncan was able to lock in the submission in round 2. Great for Chris Duncan. I absolutely love the outcome of this one. Chris Duncan just finds a way, and that's really it. Next up, this is a fight I missed the most of because I had to handle something, but Nathaniel Wood against Morgan Charrier. Fun fight, both guys. I saw this fight being even. Both guys, I said were equal in skill. Especially on paper. I thought Charrier would find a way to knock Nathaniel Wood out, but it ended up being the complete opposite. Nathaniel Wood dropped Charrier in the first round, and it seemed like Charrier never recovered. Nathaniel Wood basically just outpunches Charrier for all 3 rounds. Great job for Nathaniel Wood. Morgan Charrier has work to do. Next up, we're in the prelims now. Jai Herbert against Chris Padilla. Chris Padilla, Jai Herbert is a very rangy fighter, and he's especially rangy in comparison with Chris Padilla, especially given the fact that Jai Herbert also fought Ilia Topuria, where he dropped Ilia via a head kick. So I thought Jai Herbert would be especially deadly coming into this fight, and he kind of did look that way. I think Jai Herbert was basically landing a lot of shots all night, that has a lot to do with his longer reach in comparison with Chris Padilla. Chris Padilla kept more of a stagnant stance, and he did have moments as well, especially in the clinch. I don't know why they gave the fight to Chris Padilla. I had Jai Herbert winning in pretty comfortable fashion, but the fight went to Chris Padilla. Chris Padilla did look very composed. He had a really cool moment in the fight where he did wobble Jai Herbert with a lead elbow. So, I could still see why they chose Chris Padilla. I just felt like the fight should have went to Jai Herbert. But still, congrats to Padilla. He moves on. Jai Herbert has work to do, obviously. Moving on further down, we have Loner. I might be fucking up his name here, but Loner Kavanaugh against Felipe Dos Santos. I had Felipe winning this despite Loner being the much better fighter on paper. And it turned out that Loner, lived up to the hype on paper. Loner looked really great in there, looked great on the feet, looked great on the ground, got a lot of takedowns against Felipe. Really just fucking outclassed Felipe in the last 2 rounds. Felipe had a good first round, but besides that, he just fucked up Felipe, especially in the final round too. So great for Loner Kavanaugh. Felipe Dos Santos might get cut because he has yet to really make a statement in the UFC. So I wouldn't be surprised if we find out Felipe Dos Santos has been cut from the UFC. Moving on. Marcin Tybura against Nick Parkin. This fight was interesting. I had Nick Parkin winning just because of Nick Parkin being undefeated and a lot of other highlights, in his previous fights. Marcin Tybura, obviously UFC veteran. We all know him. Marcin looked great. I think Nick Parkin had moments, but Marcin had more of them. I think Marcin had the better output. I think Marcin was just a step ahead in most facets of the sport, in this fight. So I get why they went with Marcin, and I am very pleased that they went with Marcin instead of Parkin for this fight, despite Parkin being the Englishman and this fight being in England, So glad that fight went to Marcin. He looked great. Marcin might be fully embracing the gatekeeper role at heavyweight. You never know. Next up, Christian Leroy Duncan against Andre Pulev. I missed most of this fight too. I had a lot going on today. But still, Christian Leroy Duncan got the win. I won't say much about it because I didn't see much of it, but I still chose Christian Leroy Duncan to win. So I was right there. Next up, women's fight. Shauna Bannon against Puha Tomar. This fight was frustrating for me. Shauna Bannon basically just fucking sidekicked the entire fight. It was just hands up and sort of like a karate defense style, and then just sidekicking Puha. I think Puha could have caught one of those sidekicks. Puha just kind of fucking stood there and ate every sidekick throughout the entire fight. She looked lost. I kind of blame her coaching staff too. Very, very, very low IQ, low fight IQ from her corner and from her as well. So I think Puha definitely could have got the win here, especially given the fact that she's got really heavy hands, and if she was able to get close, catch a sidekick, pull Shauna Bannon in close and throw them hands more, I think Puha would have knocked out Shauna. Now, Puha did knock down Shauna near the end of the fight, but Shauna was able to, collect herself and find a way to get to a armbar. The armbar wasn't fully locked in until Shauna had to move around a bit and kind of just clean that armbar up, for lack of a better term. And then she was finally able to get it on Puha, or Puja. I don't know how to pronounce her name correctly, but I'm saying Puha. But yeah, Puha should have had some fucking better fight IQ, and that fight IQ should have led her to catch at least one of the 5,000 sidekicks that Shauna Bannon threw tonight. I don't know what Puha was thinking. And I'm trying to curse less, but you see stuff like this and it just brings frustration out of you. Next up, Nathan Fletcher against Colin Lauren. The Irishman won that fight. Nathan had a good second round, but in the first and third round, Colin embraced his inner Conor McGregor and was piecing up Fletcher. Also had some great grappling in there as well in his favor. I loved what I saw from Colin Lauren. He righted the wrong he had in his first fight against Nathan, which I think was in Dana White's Contender Series, if I'm not wrong. But either way, Colin Lauren wins on the big stage. Got to give it to the Irishman. And last but not least, Guram Kutateladze against Kayue Fernandez. I thought Guram would win this, especially given, the high-profile names who were in his corner and also watching him and supporting him. I think Khamzat Chimaev was also somewhere in the arena or somewhere around there watching Guram too. So I thought Guram would, show out for those big names, but instead he shot the bed. Kayue Fernandez, did way better than Guram. Controlled the fight on the feet. I forget whether or not that fight went to the ground. I think for the most part it did not. I think it was mostly on the feet, in which Kayue Fernandez was just piecing up Guram. I think that the Poirier brothers probably, instilled their patience too much on Guram and made Guram think that he could just kind of sit there and shell up and just kind of find a moment to swing a perfect overhand or some shit like that. That moment never came. Kayue stayed light on the feet, really well in terms of output. Fernandez was there. Kayue Fernandez showed out and comfortably beat Guram Kutateladze tonight. And that's really it. That's my full rundown of every fight on this card. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and most importantly, turn the notifications on so you're notified about my next video, because YouTube likes to fuck with my viewership on this channel. So make sure you are subscribed, you are kept in the loop, and that you are constantly liking these videos. I love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next.